Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into your sources, the ones laying out these essential AI skills needed for 2025.
That's right. And this material really cuts right to the chase, identifying what seem to be the crucial capabilities for, well, navigating an economy being fundamentally reshaped by AI.
The core idea that keeps coming up in these sources is that AI isn't just, a minor tweak. It's presented as creating a totally new professional landscape.
Precisely. They make a pretty strong case that becoming an AI power user is rapidly moving from advantageous to maybe even essential for staying relevant. It really emphasizes adaptation.
It mentions that evolutionary idea, adapting to thrive in a new environment. That seems to be the parallel they're drawing for the workforce.
And the economic context they provide is, well, quite stark. They talk about estimates suggesting AI could add trillions globally by 2030.
But there's the other side, too, right? The potential displacement of millions of jobs by 2027, even as new ones emerge.
Exactly. The sources essentially pose the question directly to you. Which side of that massive shift are you preparing to be on?
So our mission in this deep dive, working through your material, is to guide you through the 7 key AI skills that these sources are highlighting.
We want to explain why they're framed as so critical right now, and importantly, talk about some concrete steps the material suggests for how you can actually start acquiring them.
They're presented almost like gaining superpowers for this new era. Let's jump into the first one, which the sources call foundational.
Yes, the first skill is prompt engineering. It's described as almost the mother of all skills because, well, the effectiveness of nearly all the other AI applications seems to hinge on this one.
So what exactly is prompt engineering according to this material?
It's defined as essentially the art and science of communicating effectively with AI systems. It's about crafting your instructions to get the specific output you actually want.
It's framed less like using a search engine and more like directing a reasoning partner. That's an interesting distinction.
That's a key point they make. AI needs clear direction. It's not magic, it's a tool that requires guidance. Well-crafted prompts can dramatically improve the quality of what you get back.
So it's really about learning to articulate your needs very precisely to the AI.
Exactly. And the material breaks down what makes a good prompt. It usually involves assigning a specific role to the AI, like act as a data analyst.
Okay, giving it a persona. What else?
You need to set a clear goal. For example, my goal is to identify trends in this sales data. Then provide very specific instructions, things like analyze data from Q1 only, or present findings in a table.
And the final piece seems to be specifying the desired format, like
Yeah.
asking for bullet points or a JSON output.
Precisely. Role, goal, instructions, format. Those are the key components they highlight for consistently good results.
Getting started might seem daunting, but the sources offer practical advice. They suggest building a personal library of effective prompts.
Right, save templates for tasks you do often. And crucially, iterate. Refine your prompts based on the AI's output. It's a learning process. Consistent practice is key.
It also mentions you can use AI to help write better prompts, which is a bit meta but makes sense, asking it to act like a prompt engineer to help you.
Yes, that's a useful technique mentioned. Tools like Claude, ChatGPT, Prompt Perfect, and Dust are cited as platforms where you can practice and apply these prompt engineering skills.
Okay, so mastering communication with AI is step 1. The second skill presented feels like the next logical step, AI-assisted development, using AI to actually build things.
This is described as a really significant democratizing force. AI is enabling individuals, maybe even you, to create software, apps, websites, things that historically required teams of specialized coders.
They talk about an era of AI code potentially being upon us. Does this mean everyone needs to become a coder now?
Not necessarily, according to the sources. While writing code from scratch might become less common for some tasks thanks to AI, understanding the logic of building something is still helpful.
So thinking more like a product manager, perhaps, knowing how to specify requirements and coordinate the pieces, even if AI writes the code.
That's a good analogy. Understanding the process helps you instruct the AI effectively. You need to clearly define what needs to be built.
How does the material suggest getting started with this skill?
It recommends beginning with platforms that have AI assistance built in. You describe what you want, and the AI generates code or structure. Then, learn to modify that output.
So you're not starting from zero, but you're learning to customize and refine what the AI gives you. Understanding API documentation is also mentioned.
Yes, APIs are often the building blocks. And the practical advice is, start small. Build simple projects that solve a real problem you have. Learn by doing.
The sources list some tools here. For beginners, things like Lovable, Bolt, and Horizons are mentioned. Lovable apparently can build a web app from one prompt.
That's what the material claims, including integrations for databases and payments. For more technical users, tools like Cursor, Windsurf, and Klein are noted for providing AI assistance within a coding environment.
All right, so we can talk to AI, maybe get it to build things. What's the third skill? AI content creation.
This is about using AI to produce high-quality content, potentially at scale, across different formats. It's a broad category.
What kind of content are we talking about here?
The material lists quite a range. Written content like blogs, emails, ad copy, social media posts, even reports. Visual content like images and graphics. Video content helping with scripts or editing, and coordinating it all across channels.
But the sources caution against just letting AI run wild and generate generic stuff, right?
Absolutely. The most effective approach described is blending human creativity and strategy with AI's capabilities. The human guides, refines, and adds the unique value. It's AI-assisted, not just AI-generated.
So how do you develop this skill effectively? It starts with the briefing process again.
Yes, providing very specific instructions is key. Define the tone, style, audience, purpose. Provide examples of what you like. The better the brief, the better the AI's first draft.
The material also suggests developing workflows like AI outline, human approval, AI draft, human edit, maybe an AI polish.
That's a common pattern they describe. It integrates human judgment at key stages. Learning to repurpose content efficiently using AI is another valuable technique mentioned.
And experimenting with different tools is encouraged. Midjourney and Leonardo AI for images, Runway for video, 11 Labs for voice, Sununo for music.
Right, and they highlight the trend towards multimodal AI tools that can work across text, image, video, and audio seamlessly. That seems to be a key development area.
Okay, moving on. Skill number 4 deals with efficiency and leverage. AI automation or AI workflow automation.
This one is all about creating AI systems that can handle routine business processes autonomously. Think of it as gaining operational leverage.
Doing more with the same resources by automating the repetitive stuff.
Exactly, but it's distinct from older automation. AI automation, as described, can learn, adapt, handle exceptions, and get smarter over time. It's more dynamic.
The sources frame it as creating digital employees for routine tasks. It's quite a concept.
It is. The idea is freeing up human workers for tasks that require more creativity, critical thinking, or complex problem-solving, the higher-value activities.
What's the basic structure of these automations?
Typically, there's a trigger, which is the event that starts the process, and an action, which is a task performed. But AI allows for more complex logic, multiple steps, and decision-making within the workflow.
What kinds of tasks are good candidates for this?
The material gives examples like email triage and response, handling standard customer support tickets, data entry and validation, social media monitoring, or even qualifying sales leads based on set criteria.
How would someone get started with building these automations?
First, identify repetitive tasks in your own workflow. Look for things that follow patterns and don't require much subjective judgment. Map out the steps involved.
Then start simple, using available tools.
Precisely. Tools like Zapier, Make, and N8N are mentioned as platforms that often allow building these automations without needing to code using visual interfaces.
And maybe implement them gradually. Perhaps keep a human check in place initially.
That's a prudent approach suggested in the material. Start small, maybe supervise the automation, and then scale up as you gain confidence in its reliability.
All right, skill 5 takes us into the realm of data. We're all drowning in it. AI data analysis.
This is about using AI's power to sift through complex data sets and extract meaningful insights that would be, frankly, impossible or take ages to find manually.
Why is this so crucial now? Just because there's more data?
That's part of it, overcoming data overwhelm. But also, the sources strongly argue that data-driven decisions consistently outperform gut feelings or intuition. AI analysis enables that.
And this can lead to tangible business benefits.
Yes, the material links better data analysis, enabled by AI, to things like higher customer satisfaction, improved productivity, and ultimately, better profitability.
But it's not just about feeding data into a machine, is it? The human role is still critical here.
Absolutely vital. The sources stress the human ability to translate real-world business questions into specific data analysis questions that the AI can tackle.
And then, just as importantly, interpreting the AI's findings and translating those insights back into actionable business strategies.
Exactly. The human provides the context and the strategic direction. To get started, The advice is to focus first on asking the right questions of your data.
Specific probing questions about growth, customer behavior, inefficiencies, things like that.
Precisely. Then, learning some basics of data preparation, cleaning, and structuring data so the AI can work with it effectively. And start with simple analyses.
Many tools we already use are adding AI features for this, aren't they?
Yes, the material mentions tools like ChatGPT itself, Microsoft Excel with Copilot, Google Sheets with Gemini, plus dedicated platforms like Tableau and Power BI are all integrating AI analysis capabilities.
And the goal is to move beyond just descriptive analysis towards predictive and prescriptive analytics. What will happen and what should we do about it?
That's the progression outlined. Starting simple, then leveraging AI for more sophisticated forecasting and recommendations as your skills develop.
Okay, skill number 6. This one sounds less flashy, but perhaps is becoming increasingly non-negotiable. AI compliance and ethics.
Right. It might not be the most exciting topic for everyone, but the sources are very clear. Ignoring this carries significant risks, legal, financial, and reputational.
So this is about implementing AI responsibly within the rules and maintaining ethical standards.
Exactly. The regulatory landscape is changing fast. The EU AI Act is mentioned as a key example. And beyond regulations, ethical missteps can seriously damage customer trust and your brand.
Conversely, companies seen as leaders in ethical AI might actually gain an advantage.
That's the argument presented. Strong ethical practices can build trust and differentiate a company, potentially leading to better performance compared to peers who are less careful.
What are the key ethical principles the sources highlight in the context of AI?
They generally cover principles, like transparency being able to explain AI decisions, fairness ensuring AI doesn't perpetuate harmful biases, privacy responsible data handling, accountability knowing who is responsible when things go wrong, and safety preventing harmful outputs.
How does one develop skills in this area? It feels quite broad.
It starts with building a basic understanding of these principles. The material suggests practical steps like creating simple documentation for the AI systems. You use what they do, what data they use.
Staying informed about regulations relevant to your field or location seems crucial too.
Definitely. And developing a proactive framework for thinking about these issues before deploying an AI system, rather than reacting after something goes wrong.
That makes sense. Get ahead of potential problems. Okay, the final skill, or maybe it's a cluster of related skills. AI strategic integration, AI agents, and using AI for critical thinking.
Yes, this is about the higher level application and integration of all these capabilities. AI strategic integration means weaving AI into the core fabric of a business or workflow for transformative results.
It's presented as more than just a tech project. It's a fundamental rethinking of how work gets done.
That's the idea. It requires a leadership mindset focused on continuous learning and adaptation. It's about seeing AI as a strategic lever.
And within that, the concept of AI agents comes up. How are they different from basic automation?
Agents are described as having more sophisticated reasoning capabilities. They can purportedly think through problems, adapt their responses, learn and perform tasks with much greater autonomy and logic than simple rule-based automation.
Like a digital assistant that can do more complex, multi-step tasks. The example given was a chatbot that qualifies leads, searches the web, and updates a CRM.
Exactly. They act more like specialized team members.
Mhm.
Then there's the aspect of using AI for critical thinking, essentially using it as an AI strategist.
Using tools like ChatGPT as an advisor or a sounding board to cut through noise, refine ideas, make decisions, or do deep research.
Yes, leveraging AI's ability to process vast information and structure arguments to augment your own strategic thinking and decision-making processes.
How do you develop these more strategic skills?
For strategic integration, it involves analyzing bottlenecks, prioritizing AI initiatives by impact, creating a roadmap, and setting metrics. For agents and the strategist role, it's more about exploring platforms designed for agent creation, or simply practicing using tools like ChatGPT in that advisory capacity.
The sources mention Lindy for agent creation with plain English, and N8N for more complex agents, and ChatGPT again for the strategist role.
Correct. It's about starting to experiment with these more advanced applications.
Now, hearing about all 7 skills, it could definitely feel a bit overwhelming. The fear of needing deep technical expertise might creep in.
And the sources directly address that. They strongly emphasize that you do not need to be a coder or a data scientist to effectively leverage most of these AI skills. That's a key message.
So what's the recommended approach to learning and actually implementing these?
The material consistently highlights 4 key principles. First is sequential learning. Start with the basics, especially mastering prompt engineering, as it underpins so much else.
Build the foundation first. Makes sense. What's second?
Application focus. Learn by doing. Don't just explore tools aimlessly. Use AI to solve a real problem you actually have. Focus your learning on a specific, practical goal.
Third is progressive mastery. Don't try to boil the ocean. Start with simple tasks, build confidence, and gradually tackle more complex applications as your skills grow. Iterate.
Exactly. And the fourth principle ties it together. Cultivate an implementation mindset. Combine the learning approaches, be willing to experiment, learn from failures, and perhaps engage with communities to learn from others.
The sources also acknowledge common hurdles like technical intimidation, which we've touched on, and tool overwhelm. There are so many AI tools now.
For tool overwhelm, the advice is to focus on the capability you need, not the specific tool initially. What problem are you solving? Then find a tool that fits, rather than trying to learn everything at once.
And overcoming that hesitation to actually start. The advice is just to start small.
Yes, pick one small, achievable problem or task, apply one skill or tool, see how it goes, and scale from there. Don't wait for the perfect plan.
A structured timeline can help too. The sources mention a possible 30, 60, 90-day framework, focusing on prompt engineering in the first 30 days, perhaps.
That's one suggestion, providing a concrete structure to get started and build momentum.
So wrapping this up, the core message from your sources is quite clear. These 7 skills represent a significant opportunity and potentially a necessary adaptation for 2025.
Acquiring them is framed as gaining powerful new capabilities, almost like superpowers, for navigating the changing economic landscape.
And the first step for you, the listener, is presented as quite practical. Identify a current problem or challenge you face.
Then consider which of these skills and the associated tools seems best suited to help you tackle that specific problem. Start there with a clear purpose.
It comes back to that idea of adaptation, doesn't it? Like in evolution, adapting is key to thriving in a new environment. Solving one small problem with AI could be your first step in adapting to this AI-driven future.